873-5758. We're worth the drive. Thank you again for supporting small family-owned businesses. God bless.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. We'll continue warming up pretty good here through the morning and into the afternoon. Sunny skies with that high temperature getting up near 64 degrees. As you head through the rest of the day, partly cloudy skies. That overnight low is getting colder. We're going to be down around 38 degrees tonight. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
Any views expressed in this program do not necessarily represent those of WSIC.
All systems are a go.
Ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your seats. Taking care of Iredell with North Carolina State Representative Jeff McNeely is about to begin. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning, Iredell County. Hope everybody's doing well this morning. It's a nice day out there. It's a little chilly, but other than that, looks good. Once again, it looks like it's going to be dry. We need some rain, folks, and we need it bad. Pastures are just burnt up. The small grain can't hardly get planted in the ground because there's just no moisture to bring it out. If it does, it's just going to wilt right there on the spot. So let's hope the Lord sends us some rain. Pray for it, folks. Pray for it. I've been. Got a good show today. Got Representative Destin Hall going to come on. He's a representative up in Caldwell. He's also our rules chair in the North Carolina House. And right now, he looks like he's the favorite to become the next speaker of the House in North Carolina. So we're going to talk to Destin today and just see what all's going on in his life and what the future looks like. Just celebrated Veterans Day. We honor those who served this country so violently. Thank you so much for your service, men and women out there that are listening. The 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, 1918, was Armistice Day, and then in the 50s, it was changed to celebrate or honor, I should say, all veterans since World War II had passed and we were into Korea. So we look at November the 11th every year as a time to reflect and to thank those who have kept us free. I always say the land of the free because of the brave. And we've done a lot of things for veterans in North Carolina, best we could. A lot of it's for federal programs, but, we've actually are not taxing North Carolina military pensions with the North Carolina income tax. Also, we've set up a veterans court, which I think is real important here in Iredell County. Those veterans suffering with different ailments, maybe PTSD or different things, and also that includes police training to help when you come into a situation where there may be a veteran and he's having some issues, we'll say, especially on the mental side. So that's great that we have a separate court that kind of understands what we're going through here with our veterans. And in this past budget, helped get $6 million for veteran housing down in Mooresville and other projects for veterans in the area. So always trying to be involved as we can with our veterans and trying to do all I can from a state level to support because, like I said, I can read and write in I thank a teacher for that, but I can read and write and speak in English, and I thank a veteran for that. So moving on some other news, got Tim Moore. That's our representative and current speaker right now. And, hey, if anybody would like to call in and talk about any of these things or whatever's on your mind, 704-873-1400. Love to hear from you. I always like to hear from my people, see what's going on in their lives and what they feel about. But Tim Moore is running for Congress in the 14th District. Now, that's a new district actually right now. It's just been in for basically the last 2 years, this last term. We grew in North Carolina. And Jeff Jackson, who's a Democrat, has been serving in there, but he's chosen not to run. He thinks that the district doesn't favor him like it should, so he's now running for Attorney General against basically Dan Bishop. There may be a few more, but in my opinion, Dan's the leader on the Republican side. And Dan, I saw the other day in a tweet, said he welcomed the TikTok famous Jeff Jackson to the race and was ready to go toe-to-toe and see what we could see here. This should be Attorney General should be an interesting race. And Tim Moore should be. And it looks like I think Pat Harrington, I think I'm pronouncing that right, I hope, is going to run again also. And Pat's a veteran, no political experience, but seems to be a good guy, and we always like our veterans. Running against him, he did not beat Jeff Jackson the last time. I don't know if y'all remember, but this was the one where Jeff Jackson's campaign actually showed where Pat's parents lived on the lake and tried to claim him, and somebody crazily shot into their house. So, folks, really. And at that time, I think Pat's children, the grandchildren, were there at the house. And so just, that was kind of a sad claim to fame there, how crazy people are. So it should be an interesting primary. I will speak to Tim Moore. I do know him. I do not know Pat Harrington. But Tim has done a great job for us in the North Carolina House as our speaker. We have continued to be able to prosper and do well as far as economics in North Carolina with his leadership. Continually giving raises to state employees and to teachers every chance we could, other than when Roy Cooper vetoed our raises for them. That's 6%. I guess they'll have to catch up on sometime. Always remember that. But Tim's done a great job for us, and I think he'd do an awesome job in U.S. Congress, being the congressman for the 14th District. Cleveland County's kind of maybe centered of it. It does bring in a little bit of some of the other counties down there. Gaston, I think. I'm trying to think all the different ones in there. But it skirts right up to the 14th, which is, the 10th, which is our district, Patrick McHenry. So it's the 14th. So Tim will probably be making his way around the state and all over the place as he starts this campaign, and I pray you support him with your prayers, but also if you can, support him financially. It costs a lot of money to run for the U.S. House, so make sure you do that. Now on to some interesting news. I got a break here at about 2:50, so this will take a little bit, or at 11:15, got about 2 hours, 2 minutes or so. Get my numbers right here. Beth Woods, our state auditor, is stepping down in December. Beth came before us on the Government Operations Committee here a couple weeks ago, and she had done a lot of work on trying to see where our shortfalls were over the Employee Security Commission, the people that actually do your unemployment. And they've been through a lot, and I'll give them that. They were completely unprepared for the governor to shut down, even though he controls that because it runs through the Commerce Department. It's like his left hand didn't tell his right hand, or what they were doing, or vice versa. Either way, but that was not just the first. For about the last 10 years or more, they have not met the standard compliance it takes to get applications processed and the money back out to people in the allotted time that we wish to have. So this wasn't just a COVID thing. It's been ongoing, and Ms. Woods brought that to everybody's attention. And I don't think a lot of people in the governor's office really appreciated her that much for doing this. And one thing I will say about Beth Wood, 30 years total service, 15 as auditor, would be 16 if she would filled out her term. She didn't care if you had an R or a D beside your name. She cared about the state's money, and I'll give her that. And one of the few times you'll hear me probably brag on somebody from the other side, but I believe she did a quality job. Beth ran into a little bit of an issue about a year ago, had a run-in in a parking lot, and crashed her car into another car, and it was a state vehicle, and she got in a little bit of trouble with that, and court system handled it. She did the best she could with it. Like I said, I know we all make mistakes. We all hope we live and learn from them. But it was kind of funny. I think the word had gotten out that she was not going to run again, and so the SBI decided to do some investigating. And so kind of odd that they would go after the state auditor, but they basically wanted to see what she did with the car when she was out and about. And we'll finish this little talk when we come back from break, so stay tuned if you want to hear about it.
Taking care of Iredell with NC Representative Jeff McNeely will return after this short break on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Santa's coming to town. Come out to Birkdale Village from 2 to 7 p.m. this Saturday, the 18th. WSIC will be broadcasting live from the event. Activity Row, Birkdale on Ice, Beer Garden, dance performances, and the tree lighting parade. Dance away the end of the night with live music this Saturday. The fun begins at 2 p.m. and the tree lighting ceremony starts at 6. For more info, visit birkdalevillage.com. It is the last weekend of the season for the Davidson Farmers Market. Come out and enjoy the wonderful local vendors. Saturday from 9 until noon, the last weekend of the year for Davidson Farmers Market. For more info, visit davidsonfarmersmarket.org. Hit songs from the 1950s will have you wanting to boogie all night long. The Winter Dance Party this Saturday night, Charles Mack Citizen Center. Doors open at 6. For more info and to purchase tickets, visit ourtownstage.com. Mike Ferris and the Fortunate Few are coming to Kane Center for the Arts this Saturday. Mike Ferris is a Dove Award winning artist. Americana, rock, blues, and gospel. Come enjoy a fun night of great music. Mike Ferris and the Fortunate Few this Saturday. Doors open at 7 p.m. kanearts.org. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
The Renaissance Festival is back Saturdays and Sundays now through November 19th. Save your dates. Don't miss the Renaissance Festival. Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com while supplies last.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. We'll continue warming up pretty good here through the morning and into the afternoon. Sunny skies with that high temperature getting up near 64 degrees. As you head through the rest of the day, partly cloudy skies. That overnight low is getting colder. We're going to be down around 38 degrees tonight. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
For 42 years, Johnson's Parts and Supply has been your Auto Value Auto Parts store. When you need auto parts, think Johnson's Parts and Supply, your Auto Value Auto Parts store, 1112 Shelton Avenue, Statesville.
Now, more Taking Care of Iredell with NC Representative Jeff McNeely on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, back here for the middle part of the show, I guess, till we go to our break here at 11:30, so we got a little bit of time. Getting back into it, I was talking a little bit before this about our state auditor, Ms. Beth Woods. Like I said, so the SBI decided they needed to investigate, see what all Beth has been up to with a state car, and the findings were that the grand jury brought back an indictment against her. And basically, it was for the misuse of the state car because she took it to the grocery store and she took it to hair appointments and nail appointments, which a woman's got to do. And also, she used it for going to the spa, they say. A couple other things they brought out, just basically using it for personal use. Well, I don't know if that's enough for any kind of real indictment, but evidently the SBI felt so, and so did some judges in Wake County. And so that's what they're doing now. They're bringing a grand jury indictment against her for misuse of state vehicle, and I'm sure they'll bring up her collision in the parking lot. But to me, this screams witch hunt up one side and down the other. And I guess my question is, just looking from the outside in, with Beth not wanting to run again, did the powers that be, especially on the Democratic side, and understand SBI falls under our Attorney General, Josh Stein, who's running for governor. Also, like I said, you got Roy Cooper, our governor, and they would like to make sure that somebody with a D beside their names remains at state auditor. Understand how important state auditor is. Not only does it go and check and make sure that we're spending our money correctly in our different departments and our different divisions and all that, but also when it comes time on certifying elections, the state auditor's office will be the one that will make sure the recount is done right. So it will be up to the attorney general, basically, to call for these issues with an election if there's an issue. So the Secretary of State to certify after the Board of Elections already puts their certification out, and the state auditor to verify. So it just so happens, Republicans control many different offices of the Council of State, but the three they do not control, Attorney General, Secretary of State, and Auditor, all fall under the Democrats right now. And those are the ones that actually guarantee election integrity. Important position, correct? Now you see where I'm heading? So by forcing Miss Beth Woods possibly to step down because of this indictment brought against her for going and using the state car to get her hair done and her nails, this will allow Roy Cooper, Democrat Party, to go ahead and appoint somebody else to take her place, which always gives you a leg up a little bit in an election if you're an incumbent or you're already in the office position. This lets people get familiar with you and see and judge how you're going to do the job instead of coming in completely cold. That's awful handy too, isn't it? Like I said, she went after the security or the different ones, and she's gone after many, including taking a look at the SBI a few years ago, but she's checked out everybody, and it hasn't always been favorable to the executive branch when she's done this. And like I said, made a little joke with her the other day when she come before GovOps that when she pulls into the parking lot, I'm sure everybody gets nervous for a couple reasons. Y'all think about that. But this is one here that's going to be real interesting to see how this goes. So we'll just hope and pray that it's all figured out. But I do thank Beth Woods for her service to our state. To me, I feel like she has done an exemplary job and not made it political, but made it where it's about the money. And that's how the state auditor's job will be. And as a good guy running who has CPA experience, a man that I know, Jack Clark, and I think he would do an excellent job, and I'll try to have Jack on the show. He's one of the ones on the Republican side that is a CPA. So actually does have auditing experience. I think that's important. All right, we're going to switch gears just a little bit. Kind of funny on climate change. And I think a lot of people think that a climate change doubter. Well, I have questions. I hope all of us have questions. I hope we don't all just take everything that's fed to us for granted, that we ask why and we ask what, and ask the serious questions. So now it's kind of interesting. Norway, who's always kind of been on the lead, Miss Greta from over in the Netherlands and in that area. So Norway's statistical agency has published a paper stating that evidence of warming is not evidence of what causes warming. The question is, does human CO2, carbon dioxide, cause global warming? And believe me now, the leaders in climate change have lost their mind over Norway coming out with this publication. This is kind of interesting here, and it starts out, it says, basically when Norway coming out, it said the same week brought forth a new study from one of the most variable of climate warriors, former NASA scientist James Hansen, whose own brand of discourse throws the climate crowd into a tizzy of cognizant dissonance. That's a big word, isn't it? I think it means it really messed them up, folks. Warming will be worse, his paper predicts, for an ironic reason. It says here, our success in reducing particle exhaust from vehicles and power sources has reduced the atmospheric aerosols that slow warming. So because of our effort to reduce carbon dioxide, there's less particles in the air, and that has slowed global warming. You can't make this stuff up. You really can't, no matter what you do. Mr. Hansen champions nuclear power, which remains anathemic to many greens and research into using aerosol artificially to cool the planet. So he's actually wanting to reintroduce certain aerosols to cool the planet. Even more, this just goes on and on. Even more anathemic, since it doesn't involve a giant convulsion of green socialism. So there you go. That's going to totally blow their thing up. This is not an easy article to read. I think they made it difficult so that a lot of laymen just couldn't pick it up. But you can bet most of his argument will be ignored, except the part about faster warming. So they will listen that there is faster warming. They won't tell us because we've done a better job of taking the CO2 out. So you can bet they'll ignore that except for the part of the global, since it can be used to bludgeon any denier who might be handy. As long as we're noting ironies, much of the abuse of the Norwegian authors comes from their fellow Norwegians whose pretense of green virtue is funded by the country, being per capita one of the biggest exporters of oil and gas the world has ever known. So the Norwegians are one of the largest exporters of products that cause CO2, but they love to do climate research to show the rest of us how we need to straighten up. We'll take a call. Looks like we got time for just about one in about 3 minutes. See what we got. Hey, we got about 3 minutes. This is Representative Jeff McNeely. Who we got?
Hey, Jeff, this is Johnny.
Hey, Johnny, how you doing?
Fine. I'm going to drag you off subject just for a minute.
That's cool. We'll talk about whatever.
I'm a veteran from the Vietnam era.
Thank you for your service, sir.
I'd like to express my thanks to all the businesses who provided appreciation and free meals and so forth.
Yes.
This past Saturday for the best.
Yep. I know Sharp's Cafe out there did free breakfast, and I went out there just to see veterans, but also to meet a guy I didn't realize it was all going on. There was a heck of a crowd. So good for them.
I started out at IHOP and hit Little Caesars and Chick-fil-A, Sheetz, Logan Steakhouse.
Wow.
I was a full happy customer that day.
And a lot of veterans we have sadly have food insecurity issues. So I hope they had transportation some way or another where that day maybe we actually got their appetite satisfied. Because I'm sure some days there's some that go hungry, and that's sad. That should never happen in this country. That's one thing that should never happen, seeing our veterans not have housing, not have food, and have any kind of issues like that. So thank you for your service again.
Okay, Jeff, I appreciate your service to us also.
Well, I thank you, sir. Like I said, I'm just trying to do my part. The Lord calls on all of us to do it, but y'all did a great lift, and I sure do appreciate you.
Okay. Lord bless you, brother.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right. Yeah, it's so great of the businesses out there that participated and had veterans free meals and different discounts and stuff. Like I said, I think we need to show that as a community. Very important. Just real quick, trying to finish up. Got about a minute for my guest is going to call in here at the middle part of the show. Kind of crazy to see this come out of Norway. Has the greenback finally been broken? Maybe. We will see. But anybody that comes out with any kind of research, they're obviously quickly shout out, shout down, shut down, whatever it is, to make sure that it doesn't get any farther. This is an initiative. This is an agenda that they're going to continue to push, and it's money leaving our economy, and it puts a hurting on everybody, and it's going to bring about more inflation because cost of goods are going to cost more. And I'm not saying we can't do a better job with our environment. We can always do a better job. I know on the agriculture side, we're constantly looking at ways to be in conservation and to save our planet. So let's all try to do that. But we need to use some sense in this too and make sure we're not being beguiled. All right, hang tight. Destin Hall coming. Going to be a great talk. See you soon.
Taking Care of Iredell with NC Representative Jeff McNeely is coming up on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Fall is here, and Lil Shavers has the supplies you need. Wheat straw, pine needle, grass seed, pelletized line, landscape edging, and railroad cross ties. Got a deck that needs staining? Lil Shavers has PPG paints and stains at prices you can afford. Fall is a great time to replace your furnace filters at Lil Shavers. Get the products you need at reasonable prices from Lil Shavers, 3301 Salisbury Road in Statesville.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. We'll continue warming up pretty good here through the morning and into the afternoon. Sunny skies with that high temperature getting up near 64 degrees. As you head through the rest of the day, partly cloudy skies. That overnight low is getting colder. We're going to be down around 38 degrees tonight. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
Johnson's Parts and Supply, your Auto Value Auto Parts store for 42 years, carries a full line of Wix filters for cars, trucks, and all types of heavy-duty equipment. Johnson's Parts, your Auto Value Auto Parts store, 1112 Shelton Avenue, Statesville.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now, and the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Do you struggle with occasional nerve aches in your hands or feet? Try Nervive Nerve Relief from the world's #1 nerve care company. Nervive tablets contain alpha-lipoic acid to relieve nerve aches, weakness, and discomfort, plus B-complex vitamins to support healthy nerve function as you age. Live life with less nerve discomfort with Nervive Nerve Relief. Learn more at nervivehealth.com. And try Nervive Pain Relieving Cream to block nerve pain signals at the source. Use as directed.
The Y provides fall swim lessons for children and adults and adaptive swim programs for kids with special needs. Get started in the sport by signing up for a competitive swim team. Plus, the Statesville Family YMCA is hiring. Visit YMCA NWNC for more details and to learn how you can sign up for swim lessons at the Y. This message brought to you by the Statesville Family YMCA.
It's Taking Care of Iredell with NC Representative Jeff McNeely on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, back here for the middle part of the show. Waiting on our guest to call in. He might be a little bit delayed. He's a very good lawyer up in Caldwell County. Does a lot of, I think, family law practice and whatnot, divorce and child custodies and stuff like that. So he's actually saying right in front of the judge now, but we'll step out. So I've shot him the number. So we'll wait on Destin Hall, Representative Destin Hall from Caldwell County. He's going to call us soon. Got another thing I can bring up and talk about because I think it's kind of playing along the same line. And right there, the FBI this past week, or I think it was Friday, took the phones and iPads from New York City Mayor Eric Adams as part of a probe that they're doing into corruption into his political campaign for when he ran for mayor of New York City. Now, Mayor Eric Adams, maybe many of y'all don't know because a lot of people, New York City doesn't really mean much to you, and I get it. But actually, ex-New York City police officer, I'm not sure how far up the ranks he was, but I think he was fairly far up because I think he'd served for quite a while. So a veteran officer actually has done fairly good as being the New York City mayor and has helped improve the crime situation. Still has liberal DA to work against, so they're letting them out about as fast as they catch him, but the morale, I understand, has picked up. But they're going after him. They're saying some Turkish nationals maybe have gave money to his mayor campaign through what they call straw donors, which is basically just funneling it through somebody else, something else, fictitiously. I find it odd that the FBI is really this concerned about the New York City mayor, other than he's actually causing some conflict with inside the Democratic Party in the city of New York and Nassau County and the boroughs and whatnot by trying to actually improve the life and the situation. But, that doesn't go along with defunding the police and all these other things that seem to, letting them out. Basically, if there's any kind of drug issues, just walk free or anything else. They're letting them basically out in California steal, I think, up to $20,000 worth of stuff, where they'll even call it a felony if they go and break into a store and, loot it like they have. And in New York City's kind of got this going, but they don't come out and make a law. They just kind of let them off the hook. And so he's really done a good job of trying to keep the morale up. So I kind of feel like maybe they decided to go after him too. So you got a lot of different people weaponizing different things to come after people, possibly. That's just the way I'm seeing it. I don't know. I could be wrong. But I do know this. He has done a good job, and I'll be curious to see. I mean, once again, this maybe to me looks more like a little bit of a witch hunt. So this is actually somebody from the other side that seems to be, have done well in improving the situation. And so now let's get rid of them. Much like Beth Wood has done, has been a great auditor. Once they saw there wasn't much use for her no more, I feel like they've kind of gone after her. That's just Jeff McNeely's opinion. I could be completely wrong. So I don't know. We'll see how this works out. I believe we got our guest calling in now. All right, sounds good. Let's see if we can take him. Hey, this is Representative Jeff McNeely. Is this Representative Destin Hall?
It's me, Jeff. Sorry if I'm just getting on. I'm doing my other job a little bit today.
Well, I tell you what, I think your pay's about like mine. You might make a little bit more as rural chair, but that $14,000-$15,000, it's hard to buy, do the cost of living in Raleigh, North Carolina, and in Caldwell at the same time. I can tell you that.
No doubt, we have to supplement that $14,000 a year legislative salary with another job. But it's an honor to serve. It's a labor of love, of course, and nobody's there for the money.
Well, there you go. There you go. And I know, like I said, coming up here pretty soon. What is it? December the 16th. When's your wedding coming?
December 16th.
16th. That's what I thought. December 16th, you'll be a married man. So I can guarantee you're going to need to make more money real quick right then. I'm just telling you.
Right.
Just telling you.
Well, I appreciate that. Good advice.
Yep. Like I said, I've told my wife, to try to curve back on this $14,000 a year salary that her spending. That ain't happened yet. So keep working. Keep working. But, hey, all right, I got you on the line, and I know a lot of people have heard you come on my show. I've had you on a couple of different times. You've always done a great job. Tell us real quick, who is Destin Hall, in case somebody out there listening never heard of Destin Hall, because they're getting ready to hear a lot about Destin Hall.
Well, I appreciate it, my friend. And first, let me say just thank you for having me on. I know I've been on a few times before, and appreciate all the great work that you do for Iredell County.
Thank you.
You do tremendous work there, and the folks there, they know it. But I'm always glad to remind them of that. But I'm from just down the road, of course, from you all. I'm in Caldwell County, born and raised in Lenoir. I went to App State for undergrad, Wake Forest Law School, practiced law down in Charlotte for a while before I moved back home to Lenoir, and now I practice here in Caldwell County, mainly Caldwell, Burke, and Catawba. I've been in the State House since won the first time in 2016, so sworn in 2017, and I've been the rules chair for the past, 3 or 4 years or so, and it looks like if Speaker Moore, whenever he leaves, that I'm running, of course, for Speaker of the House whenever he leaves, and feel pretty good about those chances right now.
Well, and I do too, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. Now, you like I said, a single man getting ready to get married here in about a month. It's going to be here before you know it. So going to have a new bride there, and congratulations on that forthcoming. Being rules chair, I watch you, y'all. I've watched Destin, and he's on a rocket, y'all. He's taken off. Have not been there long, but very, very bright young man, very astute. Just took this job and just done wonderful, just amazing as rules chair. And I think a lot of people out there don't really understand what rules chairs is. They don't get it. But folks, nothing gets through the House unless it goes through this committee to make it to the floor to become a law. This is where it happens. Destin Hall sits there and watches it all. And like I said, I guess the old saying, judges the quick and the dead. And so, and then you have a counterpart you gotta try to work with on the other side in the Senate, and Bill Rabin, and we've had him on here, and that's an interesting dynamic. Are y'all this week? Are you and Bill good, or was that last week and this week not so much? Who knows?
Well, I tell you what, Bill and we're always good. Sometimes some of our fellow members are not, and it's a process that takes a team there at the General Assembly. I've enjoyed being rules chair, but there are literally thousands of bills filed every session, as you know, Jeff, and very few of them actually become law. Only a few of them pass from one chamber to the other. Even fewer end up passing in the other chamber, and even fewer than that, of course, end up becoming law. So, we review those bills, got a good team of folks in the office, and work with the Speaker's office pretty closely so that when a bill ultimately does get to the Rules Committee, it's already gone through a bunch of policy committees. It's been vetted. When it gets to Rules, we pretty much looked at it and decided it's time to go. So we're not going to spend a lot of time on it. We're going to push it all through, get it on the House floor, and pass it over to the Senate. And that's when my friend Senator Rabin and I start to have discussions. And, we've generally been able to get a lot of things done together, and I think we'll continue to be able to do that.
Well, whenever I took this job owning a feed mill, I just knew I was going to really make a lot of extra money because everybody told me about all the horse trading that goes on down there at the General Assembly.
Yeah, it's anytime you walk out in the hallway, everybody's got a bill that they want to get heard. They're hearing from their constituents back home about. And so, what I look at as rules chair is I know that every bill that a member files is important to them. It may not always be a statewide issue. It may be something that is just particularly important to them. And I try to always respect that because, again, it takes a group of folks down there to make sure we're passing the right laws. And you can't be an expert on everything. You've got to be able to rely on some folks who are expert in certain policy areas. And, the result is you wind up with some good legislation. But I always try to remember, no matter what party they're in, no matter what the bill's about, they filed this because it's important to them. And so, I'm going to give it due consideration and give them a good shot. And, sometimes it's something that, we're just not going to hear. If it's just because we just have a disagreement on the policy, and that's fine. But we do that in a respectful way. Yeah. And, we try to push the good bills on through.
Yeah, and I'm working on bills and sending them. When you get one passed, it's a glorious day. I think there was probably about 1,700 bills total between the Senate and the House this year, and that went from one side to the other or in progress or filed or whatever. And I think about 150 or maybe a little less made it, so you're looking at about 10%. But, and some of them are mine that didn't make it, but that's not a bad thing. We've got a lot of bills, a lot of laws on the books. I always say maybe we just need to work on making sure we enforce those and make those work. We don't always need a whole lot more. Not that they're not good ideas, but just saying. So, like I said, when one finally does get through, I feel like it's vetted from one end to the other, and it's quality. And so that's important. We don't want to over-regulate. We don't want to over-legislate our people. We want them to have the freedom that they have. So I think as rules chair, I think you've done an awesome job. We got to take a break here at 11:45 for about a minute and then come back. So we'll just hee-haw here for just a little bit and then go to that and then come back and talk about, some of the things that's happened where it looks like this speaker's job is lining up for you. And so I want to bring that up here in a second, but just want to say that you've done an excellent job as rules chair, always been good to me, helped me and stuff. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. You look at bills and you help us fix them. Even when they get all the way up to the rules chair, you help us fix them. And that's a good thing. That's a really good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, my friend. I appreciate the kind words.
You just hold tight. We're going to go take a break here for a second, and we'll be right back. And then we're going to talk about some of the things that fell in place that make things look very interesting and bright for North Carolina future. Hold tight, Destin. We'll be right back to you.
There's more Taking Care of Iredell
You hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, now what we'll do now, I'm just going to let you kind of talk about, how we'll call it senior leadership got together and y'all worked this out. I may start out a little bit like, there was actually looks like a couple people wanting to vie for it, and what I consider the two favorites had a discussion, and then you'll say, and that's when I'll just let you start when I say they've had a discussion, and then we'll go from there. And I'm not going to really – I may say there may be some more come out later on, but, I don't know who. I ain't going to bring Kidwell crap up like that. So we'll worry about that another day. All right, and then we'll talk about that. And then, after we get into that, we'll talk a little bit. We'll probably talk about what does Speaker Destin Hall want to see happen in North Carolina. So give us a little bit of vision. Maybe it's just what we're doing, but give us a little vision. Okay, doke. All right, just hold tight. We'll be back here in about 30 seconds. Cool.
Yeah.
Hit songs from the 1950s will have you wanting to boogie all night long. The Winter Dance Party this Saturday night, Charles Mack Citizen Center. Doors open at 6. For more info and to purchase tickets, visit ourtownstage.com. Mike Ferris and the Fortunate Few are coming to Kane Center for the Arts this Saturday. Mike Ferris is a Dove Award-winning artist. Americana, rock, blues, and gospel. Come enjoy a fun night of great music. Mike Ferris and the Fortunate Few this Saturday. Doors open at 7 p.m. kanearts.org. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
The Renaissance Festival is back Saturdays and Sundays now through November 19th. Jousting nights, mermaids, fairies, dragons, oh my! Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com while supplies last.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. We'll continue warming up pretty good here through the morning and into the afternoon. Sunny skies with that high temperature getting up near 64 degrees. As you head through the rest of the day, partly cloudy skies. That overnight low is getting colder. We're going to be down around 38 degrees tonight. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
Hey, this is Jeff McNeely, owner of G&M Milling Company in beautiful downtown Lowray. We at G&M hope you come by and see us for all your livestock needs. We stock feeds for all kinds of animals and hay too. We also have seed for a wide variety of forages for your animals. So come on by 4000 Taylorsville Highway, Statesville, or call us at 704-873-5758. We're worth the drive. Thank you again for supporting small family-owned businesses. God bless.
Now, more Taking Care of Iredell with NC Representative Jeff McNeely on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, we're back here with Representative Destin Hall. We're going to get him back up here. Is he ready to go? Destin, are you still with us?
I'm here.
Oh, cool. All right. Sorry about that. We got to pay bills around here, so we have to take these dadgum breaks. But anyway, let's go ahead and break into another conversation. You've done a great job as rules chair. Tim Moore decided that now we weren't sure what he was going to do, but now he is running for the 14th Congressional District, and I think Tim will do a great job. Longest-serving speaker, I think. Didn't he set the record, I think, because we had 10 years, 5 terms. And so done a great job for us. Big shoes to fill. You announced that you had intentions to seek the speakership, and then a good friend of yours and a good friend of mine, John Bell, who's our majority leader in the Republican House Caucus, he also announced that he was wanting to seek the speakership, but then y'all talked. Tell us a little bit. I know I call it upper management. Upper management kind of got together. So just tell us a little bit about what all went on there and where we're at now.
Well, the first thing I'll say is, well, Jeff, we're all friends in our caucus, and John and I are no different. He and I are actually close friends. We think a lot of each other, have a lot of respect for one another. And, when we found out for sure that Tim was going to leave and go on, we think maybe to Congress, but he's not coming back to be Speaker of the House, John and I both had a decision to make. I think we both heard from members of the caucus who wanted us to run. So, we got into the race and we talked to our caucus, we talked to various folks, and we ran that race for a while. And, eventually, he and I just kind of looked at each other and said, let's talk this through and see.
Don't forget your seatmates, folks. They sit beside each other on the floor. So they see each other quite a bit. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's right. We sit beside each other on the floor. We work very closely with one another, with the rules chair and majority leader. And so, we sat down and, we didn't want to wind up like we saw in Washington, D.C., where they had an internal caucus division. We didn't want our caucus to be divided. Look, there's too much at stake in North Carolina right now. We're fighting the woke left. They're going to send in millions of dollars to this state from New York and Los Angeles in the 24 election to try to give Democrats majorities of the General Assembly. We can't let, a race for Speaker turn into something that ends up hurting this state by letting Democrats win, essentially. And so we sat down and we talked, and, we looked at our personal lives and decided, who's sort of, more well-suited there. John has a young child. I as we talked about earlier, I'm about to get married. I don't have any kids. So, my schedule's a little bit more open to go across the state and help members in their districts. And so, ultimately, we talked through it, and what we came up with is John's going to support me for Speaker, and then John will slide over to Rules Chair, my current job, whenever and if the caucus decides to give me that honor to be Speaker. John would slide over to Rules Chair. And what it does is I think galvanizes our caucus. It really brings the camps together. It allows us to move forward as one body, one unit, and that's a big deal for our whole caucus because we got a lot of work to do. We've got a lot of tough races across the map. We've got to go out and garner that support, and it's going to take us all being on the same team, and we are now. And so hopefully that's all behind us. Of course, it's still up to the caucus. They get a vote. At the end of the day, it's their decision, but I'm just going to go out and work as hard as I can and earn the support of my caucus members.
Well, and there may be others that show up to run. We'll see. Who knows? But y'all out there in radio land, you don't understand. I felt like a rock had got taken off my chest. I'm sure you and John did too, more so. But both good friends y'all are. I consider you and admire both of you. Think you're excellent representatives. Do a wonderful job in our caucus. And I didn't want to have to make the choice, y'all. I'm just going to be honest with you. I did not want to do it. So thank goodness this just kind of worked itself out, in my opinion. And going forward, we have a plan. Isn't it wonderful to have a plan? I look at U.S. Congress and Matt Gaetz, and he had no daggum plan at all. Kevin McCarthy maybe wasn't the great speaker, but you don't throw everything in chaos just because of that. You work through it, and so this shows that we do have leadership here in North Carolina, and I'm proud of you. I think, and very proud of John. I know John, he had a desire, but he was able to put what's good for the state ahead of his desire, and that's a true leader. That's a really true leader.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's something that, as you said earlier, we're all friends and a rock taken off of our backs, and he and I being friends, running against each other, certainly not something we enjoyed, but now again we're moving forward as a team, and he certainly has a bright future in the state house or whatever else he wants to do. And I'm going to look forward to continuing to work with him in the years to come. But now we move towards trying to go get more Republicans to add to our supermajority in the November 24 election.
Exactly. And people out there got to understand, we have a supermajority now, and it's done miracles for the state of North Carolina, in my opinion. We're saving somewhere, they predict, between 8,000 and 10,000 babies from being aborted. Over 30%, I think it's about 36 or 7% less abortions, just moving it from 20 weeks down to 12. We're able to do a great tax package and let people keep the money in their pockets. I thought this last budget was an awesome budget. It saved money. It gave tax cuts, but we also went and helped infrastructure all across the state. Many, many great things. We got about 4 minutes or so. What is the future of North Carolina in Speaker Destin Hall's eyes? What is it you want to accomplish?
Well, look, as we've said in the call, at the end of the day, our caucus gets to make that final call. But if they see fit to give me the honor of their support, I want to continue to focus on the things that Republicans have focused on in this state for the last decade that have made us take off economically and really be the envy of the nation. We're ranked number one in business in the entire country in publication after publication, year after year. And that didn't happen by accident. That happened because of the Republican policies in the General Assembly, lower taxes, doing away with burdensome regulations, having a pro-business and pro-jobs environment. We want to continue to push that. We want to continue to make sure we're lowering taxes, getting rid of regulations. We also want to work to reduce the price of health care in our state. And there's a number of ways that we can do that. And work to have a more cost-effective healthcare system in North Carolina. We want to continue to raise teacher pay. We've done that year after year, and we want to continue on that track to raise teacher pay. I'd love to see us at some point get to be the highest or one of the highest in the Southeast. And finally, Jeff, look, there's what I call the woke left mob out there who are trying to pass just extremist left-wing agenda policies. You look at, some of the issues across our state. Sheriff's not cooperating with ICE. Again, law enforcement, they're supposed to cooperate. We have sheriffs in our state, unfortunately, and very few of them, thankfully. There's only a handful, maybe 5, 6, 7.
Unfortunately, about 40% of the population, though, they control.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. And so, these sheriffs are not cooperating with federal immigration authorities to try to track down illegal aliens, not only illegal aliens, but folks who are here committing crimes,
right.
And violent crimes at times. They're just not working with them at all. You look at the policies of the left that just allow crime to happen in our state. They allow buildings to be burned down. They don't seem to care about property crimes. You see people blocking highways and just simply letting them stay there, as we saw here recently in Durham, just a few exits down from Duke Hospital, where if somebody had an emergency, they would be delayed getting into the hospital, and yet law enforcement just lets these people let them sit in the road.
Yeah.
And the most sad thing that I've seen, Jeff, and I still can't believe this, people on the left are supporting the terrorist group Hamas.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable to me that that's where we are. You see this on university campuses right here in North Carolina. I saw on UNC the pro-Hamas group put out a flyer with the army man on with a parachute that they used in the terrorist attack in Israel, where they maimed and killed innocent people. And that's what they're out publishing, and that's at UNC. That's right here in North Carolina.
I know, crazy.
We've got to fight that battle, and we're gonna deal with that. But it's just I thought that I couldn't be any more shocked about some of the crazy things I see from the left. But this latest policy from the left of being pro-Hamas terrorist it takes the cake. I truly can't believe it. Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East, one of our greatest allies. They were attacked. It was terrorism. This is not a gray area issue. There's no two sides here. Israel is in the right, and the terrorists of Hamas are in the wrong.
Yep.
I just can't believe
we're here at the end of the show. I got to cut you off, but hey, Destin, thank you for coming on. I appreciate you. I support you. Take care, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you, my friend.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Dear Heavenly Father, dear Lord, I pray for our veterans, and I pray for Destin and Madison and their marriage, and I pray for wisdom for all of us. In Jesus Christ's name, amen. Take care. Next week, folks. We'll see you.
You've been listening to North Carolina Representative Jeff McNeely. Join Jeff again next Monday morning at 11:05 for Taking Care of Iredell on News Talk WSIC.